that you are ready today to learn something. Remember, yesterday we stopped at a point where we explained why meetings are very important, and we said meetings are very important because there's nobody who has a monopoly of ideas. Remember, we also said that meetings will be able to help us to generate a lot of ideas. They are, give the best opportunities for brainstorming, and so it is very important for us not to ignore, not to discard the art of holding meetings. Now today I would want us actually to go to the nitty-gritties of running a meeting. Well, we need to say that meetings are things that most managers, most leaders actually dread. When people are invited for a meeting, they say, another meeting again. Like it becomes something that they don't look forward to. But as meetings can be very productive and can be opportunities in which everybody is excited to look forward to, especially when they are run well. The reason why most meetings are dreaded and they become ineffective is because most leaders do not know the art of learning an effective meeting. So Bob Weir has this excellent quote which learns something like, the meetings can be a lot of fun or they can be frustrating. The meetings can be a lot of fun or they can be frustrating. It is the role of the chair. It is the role of the chair to run the meeting. And that needs to stick to all of us. That it is the role. It is not the role of the secretary. It is not the role of the vice chair. It is not the role of any other member of the meeting. It is the role of the chair to run the meeting. And under this section, we shall discuss this lesson under five subsections. Section 1 is, what do you do before the meeting, during the meeting, after the meeting, then the role of the chair. Then you're going to discuss the role of the secretary before, during, and after the meeting. This lesson is divided into 5 sections: what you do before the meeting, what you do during the meeting, what you do after the meeting, and then we are going to discuss the whole aspect of the role of the chair during the meeting, then the role of the secretary before, during, and after the meeting. So let's dive in and start with the section 1, before the meeting. Before the meeting. Number 1, we need to say, prepare the agenda. Prepare the agenda. You do not want to show up in a meeting when you do not know what it is that you're going to discuss. An agenda are the items of discussions that needs to be discussed, or maybe the resolutions, or maybe we are thinking about a resolution that needs to be made, or maybe you need to inform people, or there's something that you need them to do. We are saying the agenda of the meeting should be arrived at, and arrived at by who? Arrived at by the executive, by the chair, by the secretary, by the treasurer. It is absurd, and it doesn't make any sense when you show up in the meeting as the chair and the only person who knows the agenda of the meeting is only the chair. You need to sit beforehand and agree, this is what we are going to discuss, and actually write them down. And before the meeting commences, actually we recommend a week or 2 weeks ahead of time, the agenda of the meeting needs to be distributed beforehand, arrived at and distributed beforehand. Number 2, arrive early. Arrive early. The officials, again, the chair, the secretary, the treasurer, needs to meet ahead of time. Okay? They need to meet ahead of time. Very, very important. Okay? We are saying the officials, that is the chair, the secretary, and the treasurer needs to arrive early before other members have arrived, and the secretary should even arrive earlier. Okay, the secretary should arrive earlier. This is Marketplace Believers, an online platform that engages, equips, and encourages believers to say inawezekana. If you are here for the first time, we encourage you to join us. You can click the subscriber button so that every time when we go on air, you will be be able to hear us. I think I have dropped one of the students on call, so you allow me to call him. Okay, he is back. So number 3. So we are discussing the section 1 before the meeting. We are saying prepare the agenda, and the agenda should be distributed beforehand to the members. Number 2, we've said arrive early. You do not want a situation where the meeting is 9 and the officials are arriving even as late as 10. Actually, we recommend that you arrive 30 minutes before time to ensure a few things are already organized. And then we are saying the secretary should arrive earlier, and you're going to give the reason why the secretary should arrive earlier. And then number 3, we are saying get ready. As the members arrive, be seated with your notes ready. Okay. Now section 2 is during the meeting. During the meeting. Call the meeting to order. Call the meeting to order. And this is the role of the chair. This is by welcoming members to the meeting. And in a church meeting, begin with a devotional thought. Begin with the devotional thought. In other words, because this is a church meeting, of course the word of God should play the prominence. And the chair should look for an appropriate devotional thought. This is not a sermon. It's just a thought that can be able to spark, that can be able to encourage, that can be able to give a guidance and provide parameters or provide information or inspiration to the agenda of the day. That is very, very important. We are saying the devotional thought needs to be short and relevant to the vision and objective of the organization. If the chair is not the one who is sharing the devotion, then he can look for another person to handle the devotion. The person who should be handling the devotion should be senior, not anybody. It should be senior and respected by the church or by the organization. Okay? Maybe you can look for, maybe if it's in a church setting, maybe one of the senior ministers or one of the senior leaders, if the chair feels he can't be able to chair the meeting. We are thinking about maybe churches like Anglican or churches like PCA, where the moderator of the presbytery or the moderator of the session, or maybe the bishop or the vicar, feels that he doesn't want to share read the devotion, then he can ask maybe one of the senior clergy to do the devotion. Okay, and a good devotion should be anything not less than 5 to 8 minutes long, and if it's longer, maybe 15 minutes long. Number 2 is the whole question of quorum. Quorum is Q-U-O-R-U-M. Quorum. Now, after the devotion, it's very important to establish if there is quorum for the meeting. And one of the ways in which you are able to establish the quorum is by asking if there are any apologies, written apologies. All men and women who have explained that they will not be able to attend the meeting because of ABCD. In most of the formal organizations, apologies should be handwritten, or written, that explains why you will not be able to make for the meeting. If an apology is written or communicated, maybe through a call, then it is taken at this time. The secretary should be able to write the names of the persons that have given, that have tabled their apologies. The quorum should be, if for example the meeting should attract 13 members, a quorum should be at least 75% attendance of those persons that should be attending meeting. So in that case, 75% should be something like 7 members. Anything less than that cannot be able to transact business. Let's take maybe members are of a certain committee are 31. Remember, committee members should always be an odd number. So, and why should we have an odd number? Such that when there is a vote, in case of a vote, there will be no tie. That's why committees, the number should be always odd number. Let's take, for example, the committee members are 7. Most of the committees are either 7 or either 9 or either 11 or either maybe 21. In case there are 21, the quorum should be okay, you divide 20 divide by 4, that gives it around 5. So the committee members, the quorum should be anything 16 or 17. However, quorum is an issue that can be discussed, and you can agree that for us our quorum would be this as a certain number of members. So if you resolve that your quorum would be 10, out of 21, that should be 50%, still that holds, because that depends. Okay, so that is very, very important, that when the apologies are being given, maybe by the members, that the secretary is jotting them down, and any other person whose apology is not received should be written as absent without apology. Those who have tabled their apologies, it should be written that it is absent with apologies. For those that are that did not give in their apologies, it should be written absent without apology. Now the next item, number 3, is reading of previous minutes. Reading of previous minutes. The secretary should read in a fluent, in an effective manner, the minutes of the previous meeting. And it should be reading. It should be reading. No explanation, just reading. It is assumed that every member also has a copy and is following through the minutes. It is very important, as much as possible, to provide a copy to every member such that they are able to follow through. In these days of technology, the minutes can be sent to their WhatsApp, and maybe the secretary can be reading from the hard copy. The secretary should read the minutes as the members follow. After the minutes are read by the secretary, the chair should ask for confirmation of the minutes, and he should ask, is this what we discussed? Who is going to propose? And one of the members who was present during the previous meeting, should say, I propose, and another member should confirm the minutes, should should second the minutes. Remember, rule of thumb, that the person who is going to propose the meeting should be a member who was present during the previous minutes. Again, that member should not be an official. Let other members propose and second the minutes. Okay? So if you are an official, maybe a chairman or the secretary or the treasurer, you are part of the executive, as much as possible, please do not confirm or do not propose the minutes. Let other members without an office title confirm the minutes. Number 4, let's go to matters arising. Matters arising. These are items that were agreed to be reported in the next meeting. For example, in matters arising, it can be said during the reading of the minutes that after discussion, it was agreed that the chairman, the finance committee, will meet with all the treasurers and teach them on what needs to be done. That should be said. And we are saying don't take a lot of time. But again, I want to dive very quickly to what we call reports. Reports, these are things, number 5, reports. These are things that needed to be dealt with. These were tasks that were assigned to either the members or the executive that needed to be done between the previous meeting and this meeting that is currently running. We are saying let them be given briefly. You do not need to dwell on them very long. So in the event that is just a report, did you visit so and so? Yes, we visited him and this is what happened. That is done. And if the report is wronger and would require to be discussed, then it needs to be part of the agenda. The number 6 we are saying is the agenda. Number 6, agenda. We are saying a meeting agenda is an outline of issues that a committee intends to discuss and make resolutions on them. And this is the guideline that can be used so as to go through the agenda item. Number 1A, you need to introduce the agenda to the members. Introduce the agenda to the members. Give them short, convincing and clear information about the proposed agenda. Give a short, just a very short description on the and then a convincing and clear information about the proposed agenda. We are saying sell them the benefits. Sell the benefits of why they need to endorse, why they need to agree, why they need to vote in the agenda. They need to know why you are making the proposal. What is in stake for them should they refuse to endorse the agenda? It is wise to do it in their interest. It is very wise. Wisdom demands that you do it in their interest. Tell them, upon approving this agenda, then we are going to get A, B, C, and D as our benefits. Remember, people are very selfish, and when they hear that the agenda will bring rewards for them, then they are likely to endorse it. We are saying, number 4, Roman 4, that let the members understand let the members understand that the agenda is for their own interest, and that again it needs their opinion and approval. That what you are seeking as the chair is their opinion. You need them to advise you, to give you an advisory, but even more important, that you need their approval. We also saying that you need to be very clear about what you want the members to do in each agenda item. Do you want them to approve? Are you looking for information? Are you looking for their opinion? What is it that you are seeking from? So we are saying in every agenda, there are several things that you might be seeking. There are reasons why you might be bringing the agenda. You might be, number one, seeking for approval to do or to stop doing something. You might bring maybe an agenda. For example, say, let's just assume called NSSF. And maybe you may be proposing to introduce NSSF deductions on the employees. So in this case, you want to seek an approval to start deducting NSSF deductions from your employees. Or maybe you might be bringing another agenda that is called airtime. And this particular agenda may be, we assume that you've been giving airtime to the executive committee. And because of maybe the economic hard times that the world is facing, you may be proposing to stop giving out airtimes to the executive members. So number one, you need to be very clear that I need you to approve whether this is the direction that you're going to make, or this is what we need to do. Number two, you may be seeking ideas on how to do something. Okay, you may be seeking ideas on how to do something. For example, in a church setting again, you may be thinking, how is it that you're going to retire our members? And who should be given a ceremony of retirement? Or maybe you may be thinking on ways of investment. Which are the ways in which we can be able to invest? So you may be seeking ideas on how you can invest. Or maybe you may be asking yourself, how can we open a profitable circle? Okay, you may be seeking ideas on that. Number three, you may be seeking resources to do something. Seeking resources to do something. You need to understand, you need to gain ideas on how you can be able to seek resources. Once you present the agenda to the members, then we are saying listen to the options that are raised during the meeting. As the chair, listen to the options that are raised during the meeting, while the secretary is actually jotting down that which is being discussed. Encourage participation of members. Let not one type of member keep on giving their contributions and their opinion. Please encourage participation. Okay? If the meeting is large, for example, if you have a meeting of 100 people or maybe 200 people, then you cannot allow every member to give their opinion. In a meeting of like 100 or so, you can only allow, the maximum number of persons that you can allow to speak is basically 5. In a shorter meeting, in a smaller meeting, maybe a meeting of 9 or so, maybe you can also encourage maybe 2 or 3 to discuss. So, but what we are saying, encourage participation. Okay? And we are saying, let them know that you are interested in their ideas. Let them not have that feeling that you're not interested in what they are offering. Show that you are really interested in that which they are saying. So you need to ask clarifying question and say, let me understand. Okay, I think I like what you're saying. Okay, now, and also show respect as they make their contribution. Even when they make foolish and naive and out of the topic when they make such opinions that are out of touch with what you're discussing, please respectively, and with a lot of courtesy and respect, turn them back to the meeting. And once the group reaches a consensus, summarize the decision. Summarize the decision. Now, know when it is time to vote or pass the resolution. No. And this comes by practice. This, if you get like 2 or 3 members say different things, like member 1 can say, no, it's okay, we can stop airtime. The other member says, no, we cannot stop doing that. Then you can ask the third member, where do you stand? Then that member can say, I propose that we buy airtime. Okay? Then you can know that the direction of the membership is to continue with the offering of airtime. But if the fourth member raises up and says, no, let me give my opinion and say, I stick with a no, then it is time to vote. When there is no agreement, it is time to vote. So we are saying number 7, the chair should ask for a vote if there are more than one strong opinion being voiced. If there is, when there are more than one opinion. And we are saying the chair should declare the resolution if the majority of the members feel that way. We are saying if Speaker 1, Speaker 2, Speaker 3 all says the same thing, or if Speaker 1, Speaker 2, Speaker 3 says one thing and only one speaker says something different, then the chair should declare what the first 3 speakers have already said as the resolution of the meeting, all of the agenda. Depending on the nature of the decision, the chair can either order for a secret voting, raising of hands, or acclamation method, a method that is common in Parliament. If the resolution being arrived at by members is out of the line of firm's objectives, the chair needs to ask the members to rethink about their decision and postpone the agenda in a later meeting. Sometimes when we go into meetings, and we've seen this very many times for those of us that are, that attend and runs meetings, we've seen at a moment when an organization may be voting for an agenda that is completely out of sync with their own objectives and agenda. For example, when it comes to any other business, members, and we will reach that point, members can propose to discuss something that is actually out of line with their business, and it might marshal a lot of support from members. When the chair floats the agenda, it might get quick approval. But even then, the chair has the right to inform the members. You need to remember that our objectives as organization is not within this line, and can say, for that reason, I still, much as you have endorsed this agenda, I still ask you to go and think and rethink about it and see whether this is the direction in which you need to take, and especially in a church or parachurch organization. Then we go to what we call AOB, number 8, AOB. This is what we call any other business. And the wisdom of doing this is to ask members to give their any other business. They're supposed to say, I have any other business called cattle dip. My any other business is allowances. My any other business is books. My any other business is retire. So the secretary jots down this any other business. Then the chairman should ask each member to explain the any other business briefly. If it's a brief matter, it can be discussed. If it's a big matter, a weighty issue, it can be adjourned and promoted from any other business to an agenda for the next meeting. The cross down, the chair, number 10, number 9, sorry. Before we finish number 8, we are saying that if any other business seems to be valid, we are saying it can be slotted as an agenda for the next meeting. And we are saying spend less time on this section. Don't spend a lot of time in this section. Okay? Then number 9, we are talking about adjournment. Adjournment is where you now, maybe there's a lot of agendas that you had discussed and time is far much spent. All you already notice that the members are tired. Sometimes you may adjourn a meeting because the meeting seems to have lost direction. Members' tempers are flaring up and members are actually leaving, or they are threatening to leave the meeting. It is wisdom demands that at that time you can adjourn the meeting to a later day. Okay? Or maybe the meeting might be adjourned because there is an emergency that has occurred, that needs immediate attention. And so prudence demands that you adjourn the meeting. Okay, then number 10 is cross down. During the cross down, the chair again needs to thank the members for their active participation, and at that point there needs to be a direction that after this meeting we are going to go out there. There is going to be a photo, or there are snacks out there, or maybe this is what is going to happen. The chair should ask one of the members to say the closing prayer. Okay? Then section 3 is after the meeting. After the meeting. We have said that the secretary needs to have written the minutes immediately after the meeting. And we're going to explain later that the role of the secretary during the meeting is to take short notes. So we are saying once the meeting is over, the secretary within a day or two, or almost immediately, should sit down and now formalize and write the meetings in a formal way in which we're going to teach you in a while. The chair, number 2, the chair together with the executive needs to identify the key resolutions that needs to be implemented. Of course, during the meeting, there are so many things that are said. The chair and the secretary, the executives, so to speak, they should sit back again and ask, what is it that was said? It was said, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to follow up on this, and they need to identify the actions, the key action steps that needs to be done, and be able to know who it was agreed that should do whatever it is that was agreed on. It's critical that the chair gets the feedback of the meeting from the officials. Very important that the chair gets the feedback of the meeting from the officials. He should be told, Madam Chair or Chair, the way you brushed so and so was not very good. I think you really hurried on the agenda too. I think this is what was said by the members. That feedback is very important to help the chair to run the meeting effectively during the next meeting. Number 4, they should look for a way to implement the solutions before the next meeting arrives. Remember, the meeting was adjourned. Maybe it was adjourned within a week or within a month or within 5 months. The executive needs to establish a timeline in which they are going to ensure that the resolutions that the tasks and the responsibilities that they were given are implemented before the next meeting. Why is this important? It is very important because Once the members come, they come with an anticipation, with expectation that that which they agreed should be done has already been done. It is very embarrassing, very humiliating, and actually something that robs the confidence and erodes trust of leadership from members when that which they needed to be done is reported not to have been done as it was agreed. So it is very important that the executive sits down, establishes a timeline, allocate duties and resources, and work around the clock to ensure that before the next meeting, before they call the next meeting, that the agenda, the resolutions that were made have been resolved. This is Marketplace, a media and online platform that engages, equips, and encourages believers to say, Ina Uwezekana. If you are first time on our YouTube channel, Marketplace Media, we encourage you to hit the subscriber button, and every time when we go online, you can be able to YouTube will notify you of our upload. And then if you're watching us on Facebook, we encourage you to write to us and tell us that where you're watching us from, and let us know how we can make this broadcast very better, so that we can keep on giving you the best content. My name is John Kimani. Remember what you always say here, Ina Uwezekana. Our topic for today is running an effective meeting. So number 5, we continue, is that once they have been completed, that means once the officials have completed their assignment, then it is high time that the chair invites the members for the meeting. At least you have an agenda, that this is what you have done. Or maybe we are not able to do whatever it is because of ABCD. Okay? Then section number 4, summary role of the chair. As we were discussing in section 1 and section 2, we must have alluded on the role of the chair. Now this section actually summarizes or tells you the actual role of the chair. Okay? Number 1, ensuring that the participants of the meeting sticks to the agenda. That is role that the chair needs to have. He needs to ensure that the members stick to the agenda. Should a member go outside the agenda, the parameters of the agenda, it is the role of the chair to tell and remind them, but the member on the floor, that sorry member, so and so, the agenda on the floor is this and this. We are discussing how to increase the revenue of our company. We are not discussing competitors. So ensure that the participants stick to the agenda. Number 2, the chairperson of the meeting has also the final say when it comes to the setting the agenda of the meeting. And when we say the final say, it doesn't give him the role or the power to dictate. It simply says, when the chairman says, the chairperson says, I think we need to defer this agenda, that is final. Number 3, approving the formal minutes of the meeting after they have been formatted, and confirming that they are correct and truthful representation of the events of the previous meeting. He approves, he appends his signature to bear the responsibility that that which that was discussed was something that they had agreed. Okay? So approving the minutes. Number 4, before the meeting, we have said the chair organizes together with the executive the agenda of the meeting. He organizes what shall we discuss. What are the items of discussion? Number 5, after the meeting, the chair ensures that the resolutions of the meeting are communicated and implemented as agreed during the meeting. That follow-up, ensuring that so and so it was said should do this and this, is it being done? Okay. Number 6, during the meeting, the chair ensures that there is fairness and order, and that fairness and order are maintained. That any person who wants to speak speaks, and then again it is done in an orderly manner. You do not want a scenario where members are insulting each other. Okay. Number 7, the chair calls the meeting to order and to the close. The chair calls the meeting to order and to close. He or she may be called upon to represent the resolutions of the firm to the public. It is him. He or she is the spokesperson of saying this is what you've agreed. In a church setting, we expect maybe the moderator, maybe the bishop, maybe the senior pastor to stand up and say, this is what we have agreed. There are moments when the secretary tries to do it. Okay, we need to call again the sorry for that. We dropped the online student, and so we had to call bring him back. I think there's network issues. Here is our last born who have also joined the class. Sasa, how are you? Okay. We need to allow him to sit here. Okay. So we are saying the chair, number 8, the chair ensures that the meeting reaches a consensus in an amicable manner. In an amicable manner. You do not want to have a meeting that is controversial, that is inviting fighting and what have you. And once the decision is reached, the chair needs to announce. The chair needs to announce it and directs that it is recorded by the secretary. And this is how it's done. The chair can say something like this. We were asking each other whether we should, the agenda of today was airtime, and the question was, should we continue giving airtime to our members given the economic tough situation? And the feeling of most members is that we should at least stop it. Instead of stopping it, we should reduce it by 30%. So it is in agreement that we should reduce airtime allocation to our members by 30%. Secretary, please record that. Okay, that's how it should be done. Number 9, in the event of the need to vote for the decision, we are saying the chair leads the voting. The chair leads the voting. He says, now that we cannot agree, we are going to vote. We are going to vote yes or no. Please, those of you that are voting yes, raise your hands up. Or he can choose to do it in secret ballot. He can issue out papers, of course, through the secretary, and the members should be asked. Those, if you are for the idea, say yes. If you are not for the idea, say no. And then he should count the votes, of course, assisted by the office, and then he should announce the results. Okay? And give the decision and the direction. Number 10, the chair paces. The chair paces. P-A-C-E-S. The chair paces the meeting. This ensuring that the meeting does not stick or stay long on one agenda item. And again, he ensures that one agenda is not hurriedly discussed, okay, that is pacing the meeting. And this is what we are saying at the tail end of this section, is that the chair is proposing, not bulldozing. The chair propose, not bulldoze. Don't force things. Even when there is controversy, even when you are tempted to ask members to vote your own way, please do not bulldoze. Now, section number 5 is the role of the secretary. I think this is very, very important. Now, we need to say that the secretary plays a very important role before and during and after the meeting. And so, it is advisable to pick a secretary who has excellent writing and reporting skills. It is advisable that you pick a secretary who has excellent writing and reporting skills. We are saying secretary is a very demanding role. Is a very demanding role that requires a person with good administrative skills, speed, and creativity. Okay? Secretary is a very demanding role that requires a person with good administrative skills, speed, and creativity. And let's cover this section we are under 3 subsections, that is before the meeting, during the meeting, and after the meeting. Now, what happens before the meeting? Number 1 is to ensure that the minutes are well typed. To ensure that the minutes are well typed. Number 2, to prepare and type the agenda of the meeting in consultation with the chair. You do not want a scenario where the secretary sits alone and says these are the agenda of the meeting without the approval, without the information, without the consultation of the chair. Number 3, together with the chair, arrange the venue of the meeting. Together with the chair, arrange the venue of the meeting. Where will the meeting take place? Will it take place in the church, in a church setting, in a boardroom, or outside, in an open air? Number 4, to remind the members of the next meeting. It is him to remind, or her to remind the members of the next meeting. Number 5, to take care of other logistics that will make the meeting more productive. To take care of other logistics that will make the meeting more productive. And what are the other logistics? Other logistics would be ensuring that maybe if there is a communication gadget that will be used during the meeting that is running and it is effective. If there are screens, that whatever needs to be projected on these screens is working well. If it's about water that needs to be distributed, that water is available and distributed by whoever needs to be distributed. If there are reports that needs to be brought into the meetings, that they are all ranked up in accordance with the agenda rota, okay, and that whoever needs to make the presentation or bring the reports, that those members are available and well briefed on what they need to do. These are the small logistics that falls under the desk of the secretary. Okay. During the meeting. Now, during the meeting, the secretary has a role of reading the previous meeting minutes in a clear manner. Reading the previous minutes in a clear manner. Number 2, during the meeting, the secretary is to take short notes that sums up the decisions taken during the meeting. Taking short notes, not writing the minutes. I've attended a lot of meetings where you see the secretary actually writing the agenda. It's wrong. The secretary should take short notes that sums up the decision taken taken during the meeting. Do not take minutes during the meeting, because you will drag the meeting. Number 3 is to help the chair to read. Hello? To help the chair to read the meeting according to the agenda. Now, chair, in whisper, because they are normally seated next to each other, the chair the secretary can whisper to the chair that this is the next item. He can also advise, she can advise that there is a lot, it looks like the time is very much spent, maybe we can adjourn the sitting. Number 4 is to provide quickly and accurately. To provide quickly and accurately any information that the members may require. We are saying quickly and accurately. Number 5, at no time should the secretary get out of the meeting. He should stick around the meeting. And if he does, he needs to seek permission to do so from the chair. Maybe he or she needs to attend to the call of nature. In fact, we ask the secretary, do not take phone calls. Make sure that your phone is switched off. Okay? And should the secretary move out, the vice secretary should step in immediately and take in minutes. Number 6 is to remind the chair the goal of each agenda should he get off track. And we are saying this should be done in whisper to remind the chair. By the way, as a rule of thumb, at no time should the secretary give in his or her opinion. During the meeting, the role of the secretary is to read the minutes. The secretary should only speak when invited by the chair. Now, after the meeting. After the meeting. Okay? After the meeting. After the meeting. After the meeting. Sorry. After the meeting, the secretary is to write full minutes of the meeting. Write full minutes of the meeting. He should meet with the chair to note items that needs implementation. To meet with the chair to note items that needs implementation. Okay? Okay? Number 3, to inform the concerned person on what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. To inform the concerned person on what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. For example, during the previous meeting, it might be resolved that there is need for a few of the committee members to go and sit and look at ways in which a circle can be started. So it is the role of the secretary to go to the respective persons and be able to tell them what we require from you is to table a report on how a circle can be started. Okay. Number 4, to ensure the safe custody of the minutes as well as other documents. It is the prerogative, it is the sole duty of the secretary to ensure that the minutes and other documents that relates to the organization or to the firm are safely kept, that they are secure. And then finally, to preserve the confidentiality of the organization's business, to preserve the confidentiality of the organization's documents. Now, that marks the end of how we run a meeting. If you have any question, please feel free to forward it so that we can be able to read. And my name is John Kimani. This is Marketplace, a media and online platform that engages, equips, and encourages believers to say, Ina Uwezekana. Please, we hope that that lesson have been able, more so to the secretary and the chair, to be able to learn an effective meeting. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask us. My name is John Kimani. Remember what you always say here: